What's up and welcome to the dojo! Today I'm gonna show you how to draw a saber-toothed tiger. So grab a pencil and follow along. We're gonna do it step by step. So let's start by drawing some guidelines. Usually I like to start with a cross and a circle, but for this time I'm gonna draw a weird shape that it reminds me of a glass that is doing stretching. Look how it goes. And now we are closing this shape with a curved line. Remember to use very light pressure because we'll clean it up later. Let's pull this line down. And now we're gonna draw the leg. And also the paw. Also this is kind of a rectangle. As you noticed, in the first stage we'll draw in a very blocky way. Because that would allow us to draw more precisely the proportion and it's gonna be easier. Now I'm drawing the other paw. Okay, now let's focus on the muzzle. We're gonna establish a couple of points and then we're gonna draw a half circle. And now let's draw the same thing but on the chin. So we're gonna draw a little half circle. And then let's start a little bit drawing the nose. We're gonna continue later because now we are going to pull a couple of lines in order to find better the position of the eye. And as you can see, for the eye, this shape is a triangle. And now let's find the position of the ear. We're gonna draw straight line, little bit curved line actually. We're gonna draw another curved line, and basically we are drawing the ear. So I'm gonna tell you a secret. Every time artists draw, they are using the comparative method, and this method works this way. Basically, you compare the lines you draw with the ones you drew before. So, I don't know if you understood, we draw the guidelines for this reason, because every line we put on the paper, the better is our understanding of the image. So this way, it's gonna be easier to get the proportions right. In the meantime, I hope you drew the nose. Now we're gonna draw the tooth. Oh, and by the way, this triangle that I'm drawing is for the tooth, but it's wrong, so it's a mistake that I've done. Only the triangle, the little triangle, and I'm gonna correct it later, but yeah, so you know now. Now let's draw the bottom teeth. And the upper teeth. And also we're gonna draw the teeth that is behind on the other side of the face. Let's draw a little bit of the fur, the goatee. And now we're gonna start to draw the paw. Now I'm gonna soften some of the lines I drew before, so we can define more the features of the tiger. So for example, here we are drawing the nose more in detail compared to what we drew before. And as you will notice, I tend to draw a little bit of one feature and then move to another, and then later come back to the feature I started with. I like to do that because I want to have a complete vision of the drawing during the entire process. And here I'm starting to press a little bit more with the pencil in order to see better what I'm drawing, because we are approaching the shading part. For now, I'm just mapping out where the skin wrinkles will be. And now let's shade a little bit into the eye. Make sure to take your time when you draw the eye. In this case it's pretty simple, we only have to draw one eye, but when you have two eyes, maybe a front view or a 3/4 view, it is important to really be relaxed and calm and patient. So as you can see here, I'm correcting the tooth, and now it looks way better and natural. And here we are starting the shading. So when I shade, I like going from dark to light. So what I'm gonna do is to start with the darkest area, press a little bit more, and then pressing a little bit less, creating a soft transition. Of course, as you can see, there will be some areas which are gonna be just pure dark, and that is good to create a contrast and to have more three-dimensional drawing. So what you have to do now is to observe carefully where the darkest areas are and the lightest area are. And now I'm placing the dots where the tiger's whiskers will be. Of course, when you put the details like I'm doing right now, or also the shading part, it's not mandatory to do exactly what I'm doing, because the most important part is the sketching part, because we are drawing the structure, and if the structure is off, the final drawing will be completely different. But if the shading and the details are different than mine, there's no problem. It's just a different tiger, but you can see clearly that it's a saber-toothed tiger. And now, as I said before, we are shading all of these skin wrinkles. I think the shading is the funniest part of the drawing, because we already established the foundation of the drawing, and we are able to see what is going to be more or less the final drawing. So we feel like an improvement. We feel we are going in the right direction. So it's all about creating a lot of layers. So I think that's the funny part. That's why everyone thinks the shading is funny. And now it's time to introduce our best friend, the blending stamp. It's really helpful, and it's gonna make the drawing smoother. And now I'm drawing the shade under the paw. So as you can see, it really feels that the tiger has a weight, and that's good if you don't want the feelings that the tiger is floating in the air. So at this point I decided that I didn't like the effect, even though it's pretty cool because it seems to dissolve in the air. but I didn't like the deppa in the right corner, so I decided to implement another object in the drawing, and I decided to draw a tree. This way the scene looks more natural. Here I'm really pressing hard with a pencil. This is a 9B pencil, and this is the right time to press a lot. You could do it before, but if you didn't do it now. The more you advance with drawing, the more you will draw drawing with contrast, high contrast. And for the tree, I'm not going in details, and I'm doing it on purpose, because this is not how to draw a tree, and I could draw it, but it will take a lot of time also for you, and the tiger is pretty complex on itself as a subject, so I don't want to complicate more the drawing, so I'm just gonna leave it pretty simple. And now I'm just doing the same thing with a little bit of grass here and there. A little bit of the fur, making sure we add the final details. And that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by the dojo. Hope you liked the tutorials. And if you enjoyed, subscribe for more sketches every week. We'll see you in the next session. Bye!